This is Snakes and Otters, a pointless discussion of eternal questions. Get ready. We're about to live in your head rent-free.
Good morrow, Otterites. Welcome to episode 258. I am Martin.
And I'm Robert.
And I'm Andre.
And yep, that's it. That's all of us once again.
Oh man, second month in a row we are only at half strength.
So welcome to Studio M. Francis, we believe, has been called to go assist Papa Leo with something. And so he's not here.
Very hush-hush, secretive stuff.
Yeah, secretive mission for the Vatican Library or something. And the Imperator once again is dealing with some kind of, I don't know, something.
Uprising on the Danube.
It's either the uprising on the Danube or he's participating in medical experiments, either being experimented on or doing these. It's hard to tell.
And they're not mutually exclusive.
They are not mutually exclusive.
He could be getting experimented on
and doing
while directing the army, on this barbarian uprising on the Danube,
which might explain a lot.
Yeah. And don't count out the possibility that there's lots of nakedity going on as well.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
No matter what's going on. And then
maybe that's why the barbarians are always uprising, because Sexy Beast is defending the borders naked.
Oh. If anybody was going to be abducted by aliens and have anal probes put in them of the Brotherhood, I could guess which one it would be.
No, I think they would send the Imperator back like that. There we go.
And the Cajun and Mrs. Cajun, the Pirate Queen, are they're getting the galleon crewed and all their supplies put on board. Apparently, there's a foray into Georgia that's underway.
That's right. They're getting ready to sally forth in the coming week.
Yeah, so they got to make sure they got lots of hawsers and the sheets are all ready to go, and the ropes and the ammunition and ready to
Very handcuff and plenty of bourbon.
Yeah,
and
that's
so
they're
the
ready to
state
go.
of Georgia, not the country.
Correct.
Little column A, little column B.
Okay.
With Cajun,
Yeah, you never know.
And probably there would be nudity involved there as well.
Almost certainly.
Yeah,
almost certainly.
It's sometimes it's kind of stunning how much they're alike.
It really is. Different backgrounds. Well, actually, similar backgrounds in many ways.
But a country boy and a city boy.
Yeah. But I mean, as far as cultural background, both grew up Catholic. Cajun has lived in more places than the Imperator.
Mm-hmm.
But certainly, they both operate under their own particular rules.
Yeah. That's a good framing. Good framing. So, listeners, as you can tell, again, there are only three of us. And so that kind of nicks the whole, we want to have Mick, the writer, on. So that has not worked out because of Francis being called away with Papa Leo. So we are very hopeful, however, though, that will change, and that the episodes that you listen to in December will include one that features Mick. What's his last name? Williams, right?
Yes.
I can't.
You remember? Okay. Anyway,
I think he's just yes.
Mick, the English writer from Stoke-on-Trent, who actually lives in Fern Creek now.
Yes, and isn't, as I think we said last month, is an American citizen. Yay him.
Yep. So we are very much looking forward to that, but we've got to have Francis put that together.
Yes.
And so that's been put off one more time. And I believe we also promised possibly a Napoleon episode.
Right. That series has had to be put off.
That's going to be put off. So this episode, we have decided to resurrect Hoopajoob.
Hoopajoob!
We have not had a real Hoopajoob in some time. And I think this episode is just going to be the Hoopajoobiest of all Hoopajoobs, in that we are completely winging this one.
So we're all pulling a Robert.
So we've not even discussed an actual real topic or anything.
Yes, this will. I predict that this episode will be so popular it will eventually surpass the Habsburgs episode.
Is that where you want to start with the Habsburgs? Because I mean,
well, that would
we might as well, right?
I think we're going to define this as a stream of consciousness.
That's pretty much a Hoopajoob.
A very James Joycean.
I love you some James Joyce.
What was the famous book? As I Lay Dying. It was forget, was it Mitchner who wrote that? No. But it was very conscious.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, James Joyce, he was the guy who definitely was known for it about
Or-
120 years ago.
Yeah, it was a portrait of an artist as a young man is one, and what's the other one?
Ulysses, and there's another one. But I think Portrait of the Artist is the one that I remember the most.
Yeah.
It's been I read that in high school.
Yeah, I have not read Joyce before, so
Yeah.
but I've read
really
about
liked
him.
Joyce and Elliot George, the female author that wrote under that name, and I can't remember
George Eliot.
or George Eliot. I said Elliot George.
Yes.
Well, there was a comment.
I'm a little Lex Disick. Sorry.
Oh, that does remind me. I was listening to our most recent episodes, and we discussed at length, and this might be a good place to start. We can talk about this a little bit. Better Off Dead.
Oh yes, yes.
And I think you had said it zoomed right past my ears, but I think you said Diane Lane was in the film.
Did I?
Oh, and it's like, oh no, that's not right. It's Diane Franklin.
Franklin, yeah. Oh yeah, because Diane Lane is a totally different woman.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So interestingly,
Most well known for just basically taking off her clothes in any movie she does. Wow.
Diane Franklin, Better Off Dead kind of has emerged as her favorite role,
Really?
and she kind of keeps the torch alive for that film, probably more than Cusack does.
That's one probably Cusack, maybe not ashamed of, but it's like his second movie.
I mean, originally, yeah, he's come to kind of be fond of it because of the audience response.
Yeah.
But at first, he went to like Savage Steve Holland, the director, and was like, "You've made me look like an idiot," and he was very disappointed in the outcome of the film. And
It was his second movie. I think the first movie made him look like more of an idiot, which was 16 Candles. Because he was one of the
Oh, he was one of the geeks.
Yeah,
yes.
he was one of the geeks.
He was one of the geeks in 16 Candles. Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, when you consider you're essentially an unproven person, an actor, who's then said, okay, well, you're
teen actor too in the
teen
80s.
actor, yeah, you're going to carry this film. I mean, it was not a side. He had to carry the whole thing. He's in
And he
nearly
did successfully.
yeah, he's in nearly every scene. And so, yeah, I mean, you can always disagree with some choices the director makes, but is it Citizen Kane? No. But Better Off Dead is a fun, cute little movie. It's silly. It's quite an expression of Savage Steve Holland, because I think he did the drawings.
Yes,
too.
he did the animation.
He's he's an animator and movie director. And, but Diane Franklin, it kind of has emerged as a part that she really enjoyed. I mean, how can you not?
Yeah,
How can you not play? You're playing the little French girl, and you have all the best lines,
Yes.
and the whole thing. He uses it as an excuse to put his testicles on me. What?
Wait, what?
Tentacles. NT.
Yes. Big difference.
Big difference.
Big difference.
So yeah, I mean, what a great part, and she keeps she kind of keeps the flame
Well,
alive.
good for
that
her.
film.
I apologize if I said Diane Lane. Honestly, I
It zoomed
don't
past me. I
remember.
was like, wait, what was that? But yes, Diane Franklin.
Yes. The memory is not what it used to be, and it was never really that good to begin with.
They say the memory's the second thing to go, and I
I
can't
forget
remember
what the first one
is.
was. Yeah. Probably don't want to remember what the first is if it's already gone.
So I know we pressed brother Andre about watching Better Off
Yes.
Dead.
Have you watched it since then?
It is still on the agenda.
Ah,
It has been a hectic couple of weeks.
You'll greatly enjoy it. Again,
you will.
listeners, if you missed that episode and you're not familiar with the film Better Off Dead, it's an 80s teen comedy starring John Cusack, Diane Franklin. He plays Lane Meyer, young man that lives in a ski community in California, and his girlfriend Beth, played by Amanda Weiss, who went on to be a scream queen, famous for horror films. She breaks up with him just as tryouts for the ski team are coming up, and begins dating the captain of the ski team instead, Roy Stalin.
Stalin.
So, Better Off Dead, he attempts comically suicide several times.
Which obviously is not a funny. Suicide is not funny. It's his ineptitude.
It's the ineptitude.
is what makes it funny.
Yeah, and he discovers there's a French foreign exchange student living across the street with his neighbor Ricky Smith, and his out there mother.
Yes.
Kind of the Wolowitz mother without it
Yeah.
being Howard Wolowitz.
Yeah,
Sort of that.
Howard.
Yeah, Ricky. She ends up drinking paint thinner at the dinner table and says it's fabulous liqueur. Reminds me of the moonshine Ricky's dead pappy used to make.
Boom.
Your level of detail and knowledge of this movie is impressive.
Almost every line in this movie is quotable. That's the thing.
Yeah,
It is it is Monty Python-esque in many ways, and like Monty Python, it is just so quotable. The writing is comic genius. It really is.
on this incredibly absurd level because of course, as an '80s teen film, it features incompetent parents.
Yes.
David Ogden Stiers and Kim Darby as Lane's parents, and he's an attorney.
Winchester.
Yes,
Yes.
he's an attorney, and he's like, I know you kids are into this disco thing.
Come on, Dad. Disco.
10 years too late.
Yeah. So you're really bringing me over, man.
Yeah.
So misquotes all this, slang, teen slang.
Yeah, he's reading a book on parenting, and he takes a big highlighter, and he highlights just the chapter title.
So there's strong absurdist elements to it, which I appreciate. And so he meets the young exchange student Monique, and he learns to forget about Beth.
Yes, she helps him realize there's something else besides Beth to live for.
And there's an awesome '67 Camaro SS that makes
yeah.
an appearance in the film.
6'7".
Don't go there.
Hold that.
Our Gen A population will revolt if I don't say that.
Okay, well, all right, 6'7".
I don't
know that that's a big part of our audience or not.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. I imagine that there's very few beyond. I mean, elder millennials, sure.
Yeah.
But beyond that, there's a whole lot of younger millennials and certainly Gen Zers that listen.
Yeah. So anyway, it's a strong recommend.
It is.
Better Off Dead, and Van Halen songs make a great appearance. E.J. Daly makes an appearance as a rock and roll singer at the school dance, and
She's got some pipes.
yeah.
She can sing.
She had a recording career.
Yeah. I mean, certainly it wasn't, superstar, but yeah, she can sing. I'm glad you brought up Better Off Dead because, we talked, it's one that we didn't talk about in the context of John Hughes because he obviously he didn't direct it.
Yeah.
But it is very John Hughes-esque in certain ways. In that it's obviously way more absurdist than in any of the John.
Right. It's not as emotionally powerful.
Right. But it's got a lot of the same elements in that we recognize similar things to the other.
Yeah, every high school had a Roy Stalin.
Yeah.
It was a coming of age movie. Again.
Yeah. And it's one of those things that, I remember the first time I watched this. That's how impactful that movie is. I watched it when you guys remember when we had Maximus on the show. Matter of fact, it was here in Studio M.
Yes.
And he and I were buddies throughout college. And I remember we rented a videotape.
Yeah.
From Blockbuster.
No, it was way before Blockbuster.
It's even before Blockbuster. Yeah.
Might have. I don't even remember. Probably was some local hole in the wall place.
Yeah. Mom and Pop.
Might have been a Roadrunner. I don't know. But we rented that and we watched it, and ever since then it has been just one of my all-time favorites. But yeah, it's just one of those that has so many elements that through the absurdity makes sense. It's like, yeah, I lived that in that high. I went to that high school.
He has a cutout of Beth on every clothes hanger in his closet.
Yeah, so she's wearing all of his clothes.
Yeah, and he sees her face no matter what he puts on. He sees her face. So it's just crazy silly.
It is.
But it's very funny. So Andre, that is your homework assignment.
Okay, it will be consumed before the next recording.
Okay.
So and we're going to be doing that the weekend before Thanksgiving or the weekend of Thanksgiving.
I think currently it is before Thanksgiving.
I think so, yes.
But again, we've not had Francis confirm any of this.
I'm about ready to tell Francis, look, this is where we'll be. Show up if you can.
Well, it's supposed to be at his house, though.
Well, that's okay.
Yeah, we're just going to knock
He
on the
won't
door that
bother us.
morning.
Yeah, he won't bother us.
So, but yes, we've got to get him home from the Vatican and get this ironed out and make sure we're going to have Mick the author.
Yep.
Not to
from
take us down a
Stoke-on-Trent.
divergent path, but as we record this, it's the mid-October. We're all preparing for Halloween, and we mentioned Scream Queens, the actress who became famous for that. What are some of your favorite horror movies?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yes, excellent.
Because the reason I'll bring this up is in the spirit of I work from home, so I always have the TV on during day just for noise. And I went back and I decided to watch some of the classic movies that scared me growing up. And some of them that I've watched are horrendously bad movies, but they scared the life out of me as I was watching them.
Such as?
I'm trying to recall the last one, but it was well, first of all, Friday the 13th.
Sure.
It was a epic movie when I was growing up. Scared the life out of me because the first time I ever watched it was right after we got cable in the mid '80s. I didn't see it in the
Sure.
theater. It was a dark, stormy Friday night, which happened to be Friday the 13th. I was scared out of my ever living mind. I go back and watch it now, and it is campish.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think a lot of I think it's evolving sensibilities as well as
Yeah.
entertainment standards. I think every generation they go back and they look at what they watched as teenagers. They are going to see that. I mean, we grew up watching in reruns. Granted, things like Batman, and
Yeah.
that is the epitome of camp. Yet that was cool, when we were kids. So I mean, and there's a lot of stuff they go back and watch that is so campy it's cringy.
Mhm.
But it was still fun at the time.
I am not a big horror movie person.
Mm-hmm. I'm not a slasher person. I wasn't really big into the Friday the 13th or
Yeah.
Freddy stuff.
Yeah, but the original Halloween
Yes.
is
That's
is
good.
a very good film. It is John Carpenter. You can't go wrong there.
The Thing.
And The Thing, and,
Mm.
those two early Carpenter classics are just exceptional. Kind of in that Hitchcock suspense tradition,
Yes.
less than just the slasher gore fest type
Right.
film.
Because the slasher movies, they were about the whatever stupid pair of teenagers are going to get killed next. Generally, there were certain conventions, like you always had to get the couple that were sneaking off to have sex.
Once they started having sex, you knew they were.
You knew they were going to die. Yeah. There always had to be at least one woman with, well, back then they would have been fake because that wasn't as big a deal then, but, to bear her boobs. She wouldn't necessarily be the one to die, but almost assuredly she would, because she'd also probably be the one sneaking off to have sex, but you never know.
Well, she would have been the one that in the middle of everything, there's already 3 or 4 bodies, and she goes, "Well, I'm going to go take a shower."
Right.
It's
Exactly.
yeah. Well, like 3 of our friends have already completely disappeared, but no big deal. I'm going to go get naked
Got to
and
get
wet.
this sweat off of me.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's always stuff like that. But yeah, the slasher stuff wasn't really. Actually, very few movies ever scared me. The only movie I can ever truly being scared at, was Alien. Watching that the first time in the theater.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that was, that's a horror movie. It's just set in
It-
space.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's one of the most effective horror movies I think you'll ever see. Even though there's a lot of blood and gore, it's not.
There's a substantial part of time in the film when you don't know what's going on.
Right.
I mean, it is that classic
Hidden
hidden,
antagonist.
like, what in the world is happening? And because it's, this enclosed community of whatever it is, the 6 or 8 crew members, and nobody's getting on and nobody's getting off, this whole everything ship in a bottle
Mm-hmm.
type thing, it is truly frightening.
It is. And I think because of the setting, nobody had really done a sci-fi horror film
Mhm.
in this way. I mean, I don't count things like the 50s sci-fi horror, because that was
The
the
atomic monsters type stuff.
yeah. I don't count
Night
that
of the
as
Living
much.
Dead. Well, that was a classic.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think
That was
that's
a good one.
that's
a
not
good film.
when I think sci-fi, I generally think more space stuff.
Okay,
So
okay.
it's not futuristic sci-fi.
I
Okay.
mean, some of those films, I mean, you have to kind of give allowance for the time period.
Oh, absolutely.
But is it Them? Is the one about the giant ants?
Possibly. The one in South America?
No, it's in the Southwest. It's
Okay.
set in the Southwest. I
'Cause
think
I
it's,
think there's one set in South America that had a bunch of big ants too.
yeah. I think this is the one with um let's see, is it Chuck Connors or is he in a different anyway? Yeah, I think it's Them is kind of the standard bearer, the one that was the best made. They chased the giant ants to Los Angeles into the
I was
into
like,
the LA River
Why
you
stuff.
stop?
guys deal with them.
Yeah.
Wow, that'd be a great way to see. I think a lot of people could get behind that solution today. I think the interesting thing about all of these is that when you're first in a particular,
Genre.
it's not even the genre because I started to go there, but I thought better of that. But when you're first in a particular method or type of story, then I think you're very successful. So like something like in the 50s, the monster movies that were, the giant creatures,
Yeah.
the irradiated ants that grow to be huge,
Yeah,
or
the
whatever.
Tarantula was one. Them, and there were a couple others, but yeah, it was all a comment on the atomic age,
Right, or communists, or both.
or both.
Communist ants.
Exact. Oh yeah, those are the worst. Um, you know. Well, they do live in a commune. I mean, come on.
Communist
The movie
ants,
that was
they're
the
the worst.
antithesis of what brought up this topic, I went back and looked. It was Children of the Corn,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and that movie terrified me because my wife grew up right next to a cornfield. So when we were sitting out on there and watching, watching the corn sway in the breeze at night, I always expect Malachi to be standing in the middle of the road. And
The Shining.
oh, great
Yes.
movie.
So that one really is frightening.
Yeah.
I mean, that's of course, it's Kubrick. I mean, you can't really go wrong with Kubrick either.
I mean, maybe I was, now I would define the jump scare as different from being frightened in a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's lots of jump scares in all of these. And that's just natural reaction. That's one where I can see where people would be scared to death.
There's so many levels in The Shining of things to be frightened of because it's
Yes.
not just the supernatural occurrences. It's imagine watching the character's descent into insanity, and not knowing, is he being taken over by supernatural forces or is he having an honest breakdown because of the isolation? I mean, it works on several levels, and it's just, I mean, it's terrifying.
It is.
With what's his name?
Jack
Jack
Nicholson.
Torrance.
Nicholson. Yeah,
Oh.
Nicholson. I was like, why am I blanking on his name? But Nicholson's character to just like, wow, this dude's gone around the bend.
And Shelley Duvall was the perfect mousy wife.
Yeah,
I mean, for God's sake, she played Olive Oil. I mean,
Yeah.
she was, she just played that so perfectly.
and it works so well that she's not like a super hot actress.
Yes.
I mean, it made it more real and more just
The
it's
girl next door.
yeah. I mean, she just he's not Brad Pitt and she's not Angelina, and they're so believable as a couple, and
Yep. Well, that's
so believable as just the struggling parents trying to figure out what to do when you don't know what's going on with your kid, and
right. Yeah, can't pay the bills, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
And snowed again, just like in the space setting, they're snowed into the hotel and can't get out. Again, a confined space where
right. There's maybe a dozen actors in this movie total from start to finish.
oh yeah, I mean, there's the hotel manager that hires him, and then Scatman Crothers.
The
and-
great Scatman.
oh,
Crothers.
he's so amazing.
Oh, I
but
love
anyway,
Scatman
it's
Crothers.
amazing you bring up The Shining because there was a sequel written to The Shining. It's called
Yes.
Doctor Sleep.
Yep.
It's one of the very few movies that I think is superior to the original.
I have not seen Doctor Sleep yet. Read the book
Oh yeah, because you're a king.
because I'm a
Big-
King guy. Yeah.
yeah.
So am I. But Doctor Sleep, highly recommend the book and or the movie because it follows
Never heard of it.
it was it follows the life of the young boy after he grows up.
Danny. Yeah.
Danny, and he's what his life turns into be with living with the Shining, and it is an excellent book.
It is. You know, King he can be hit or miss more in the latter 20 years of his career. You know, so ever since he stopped doing the drugs and the alcohol, his writing isn't as consistent, which is very ironic.
So you're saying mind-altering substances are sometimes better when you're trying to write mind-altering fiction?
Well, you know,
I mean, this is your genre, so I mean, what are you on?
bourbon, um, life. You
Life.
know, it's
I would say, what do you need all that stuff for? Life's scary enough as it is.
yeah, really, yeah. So I'm a horror author. Really, what do you write? Nonfiction. Political commentary. Yeah. So
Which is another form of horror.
exactly. So forget where I was going with that.
I'm sorry.
Well, yeah. Oh, I know. I was talking about just King with a little bit uneven, but Doctor Sleep is one I think where and maybe it's because he's drawing upon the original source material, the earlier book, because he doesn't really do a whole lot of sequels. The Gunslinger series aside, that was intended
Yeah.
as a series.
Like, there's no Carrie 2.
Right.
Yeah, there's only one gunslinger story. It was just divided up into
Yes.
7 books.
Yes. I still don't like the ending of the 7th book, but that's all right.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was a
But
cop-out.
anyways, the Shining, I think, is another one of those that works partially because it's got a very 70s vibe. We've talked about how the 70s went for the realism in movies.
Yeah.
The
Yeah, the cinema verite trend.
Yeah,
And,
certainly the first 3 quarters of the decade.
yeah.
You get into the 77, 78, 79, after Star Wars, and,
Right,
and
then
sci-fi starts.
yeah,
kicking in.
fantasy is back
Yeah.
after, yeah.
But The Shining works because it is about an everyday guy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And I think your point about he's not Brad and she's not Angelina, I think that's a really telling point about how very few movies, I think today, granted, I just don't seek out a whole lot of movies, but mostly I watch series on Netflix or Prime or whatever, because the long form storytelling to me is more interesting. But the standalone movies they're more about flash. It's either the explosions, the gunfights, the chases, the superheroes beating up the bad guys.
Michael Bay.
Michael Bay. Oh my God, yeah.
The Michael Bayification of
Yeah.
modern film.
Yeah. Oh, hold on.
Word boner.
I think that deserves a word boner. Yes. And that
I've enjoyed making up words in my writing project.
it is. So how close are you? How much more? Because last I heard you were 73,000, 75,000 words.
Yeah, so I'm on the last scene and sitting at 75,000.
Awesome.
So it's going to be a little short.
No. You're good. You're good.
It'll come in 78 maybe.
That's
But I'm
fine.
on the big arrest scene now.
Awesome. Well, so you'll have a little bit of wrap up. So you may have 1 or 2 more scenes after that you can do.
Well, yes, there is a wrap up, but it's all going to be essentially one continuous location narrative.
Okay.
Everything that's going to happen happens at one spot now.
Okay. Now, obviously, I know you're just trying to get through this book, and I was hoping we would. And obviously, listeners, being a Hoopajoob and having no plan,
it's
we're just going wherever the conversation
Wherever it
takes
takes us. This is, yeah.
we've sort of talked about this before, but I know you've been focused on finishing this.
Yes.
Are you going to do more with these characters?
Yes.
Excellent.
Yes.
Excellent.
That is my hope, is that this one is not
Plan.
garbage.
Plan.
That this one is not garbage. And I do have a plan, a spark of an idea for a second book that will feature this lead detective that I'm
Excellent.
working right now. And we'll probably also pick up other characters. Almost certainly the almost certainly he will begin a relationship with the evidence technician.
Ooh,
Of
awesome.
course.
Okay, because
What's
she's
what's his name?
his name is no. Let's not go there. Her. Yeah, I'm gonna try to write it that way. Um,
I'm
and
just
then
saying, nowadays you never know.
you never know, and there's not that there's anything wrong with that.
Not that there's anything wrong with it.
There is a gay character in the book,
Okay.
so there you go. Because you know, people are people, and
They
they're
are.
out there, and there everybody's out there, so you got to work with people.
You do.
You know,
And I'm not saying this is a bad thing because I think all non-standard, straight white males are all bad. Um, there's often you can make anybody a bad guy, except you got to be careful if you choose somebody who is non-traditional to
Right.
be a bad guy. That
Right.
that can be very dangerous, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And again, not because I think they're all bad guys, it's just because then it limits you into a particular narrative.
Right.
And I don't
exactly.
like that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you don't want to go to that trope, and you don't want that to be like, oh, well, that's the reason that's boring.
Right.
That's boring. So it's very much a different. I'm trying to do this as these are people.
Right.
See them as a person, and the reason the main character respects or doesn't respect isn't got anything to do with any of those other attributes. It's whether they're effective at the job. He's got a job to do, and he cares about being effective at it. So he's gravitating towards other people who are effective at the job.
And sad to say, there are those that would call that racist.
Race.
Yes,
We haven't mentioned the word race at all in that description.
I know. That's what is to me is so mind-boggling, and because our audience is probably more like us, Gen X.
Yeah.
But I mean, there is a trend of thought. We talked a little bit about this at breakfast this morning, but there is a trend of thought that basically, and you guys have probably heard this before, that if you're worried about being on time, that's racist. If you're-
Hogwash.
It
I
is.
mean, to me, that's just courtesy to other human beings.
Well, yeah,
You know
I'm
what
just
I mean?
saying.
Like,
I think that notion in
ridiculous.
itself is racist because what you're saying is those who are not white
Or not on
are
time.
lazy and are never on time,
Right,
and not
yeah.
concerned about standards. That's a horrible thing to.
well, it's the thing about dog whistles.
Right.
Right. Only dogs can hear dog whistles.
Exactly.
If you're the one complaining about something being racist, well, maybe you're the one that's racist.
It's
'cause
like the
the
first
rest of
person
us aren't
who's.
complaining about it because we don't. It's not that to us.
It's like the first person who mentions the fart is the one who did the fart.
The
Yeah.
smeller's the feller.
The smeller's the feller. Yes. Oh
So
my gosh, I haven't heard that in forever.
one thing that I did is some characters in my book I'm describing
Right.
physically.
Sure.
Others I left that out. I left it to the reader's imagination, and you can make that character anything you want. The boss of the detectives, the only thing I really describe about her is she puts her hair behind her right ear all the time.
Oh, that is excellent because because obviously when you bring somebody in who's a more than just a waiter, excuse me, server,
A server.
you should have one particular characteristic that you can define.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, if they're the main character, a little bit more description is not bad. Tall, dark hair. One leg slightly shorter than the other. Whatever.
Yeah. I mean, the main character is, he's described more as played ball, so he's kind of big
Hmm.
and shaves his head.
Went to UK.
No college.
No college. Okay.
No college.
Oh, sorry. This is Louisville. What high school did you go to?
St. X.
St. X.
No, it's serious.
No, I know.
I'm trying to make Louisville kind of a character in the book as well.
And you should, yes.
And so that's talked about. That's the first question he asks his new partner, "Where'd you go to high school?" And then immediately, of course,
No,
it's like,
you don't ask where did you go to high school. Where did you go to school? Everybody in Louisville knows they're referring
That's
to
a
high school.
yeah,
yeah.
You don't have to say high school.
yeah.
Well,
So
I think to explain the bit, though, I think for the book, that's probably
Yeah.
better at least the
Yeah.
first time.
yeah, it's like this, this classic provincial question that we all ask. So he has to get into a discussion about, he played football at X, he was third string. His new partner played baseball at Male. this kind of stuff, and it's about that. So yeah, now he has to have some characteristics,
Right.
right?
But they shouldn't, unless the characteristic is very defining, like Tasia in
Yeah,
Red Moscow.
Rod Moscow, her red hair is
yeah,
very defining.
yeah,
So that is very specific. So one of the things that picked up, matter of fact, we mentioned the books earlier in the Left Behind books by Jerry Jenkins. Don't agree with his theology at all, but he's a spectacular writer. And one of the phrases he likes to use in teaching writing is engage the theater of the reader's mind.
yep.
And it's basically mean you give just enough to the reader for them to make up the rest of it on their own, which is what you're attempting to do. And I applaud that, sir.
Thank you. You know, when Francis was first working through his, and we would like, oh man, this is cool. You're gonna sell this to Hollywood. And who are you gonna cast in all these parts? But I kind of thought about that, and I'm like, you know what? I want to have where the boss of the detectives could be played by anybody from, Scarlett Johansson to Viola Davis. I want you to be able to imagine any of those people in that role because it could work. It could
Right.
absolutely work. So I've done that deliberately in a few places. Is some people have, real descriptions of what they look like, and some people do not.
Right.
And
And I think
it's
that's
up to the
excellent.
reader's imagination. And so,
That is the beauty of books.
yeah, I've made up a few words because you all said not to use a lot of adverbs.
Right.
So I've converted adverbs into verbs.
Well, very much.
And it's
So,
You'll see the little red underline there in Microsoft Word saying that's not a word, but well, I just made it up, bitch.
well,
Add to dictionary. It's a word now.
it is now, yes. When, if you were to, when a writer puts in the text, he ran quickly outside or to the door, whatever. He sprinted,
He scooted.
Yeah,
he scooted. Those are far better words. And plus, you get one word to do the work of two. And that gives you another word to use somewhere else.
Yeah.
So, in your word count, because word count is important. And, that's why we don't want to use adverbs because they try to strengthen a verb, and which just means you should use a better verb.
just use a better verb.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes it's not to say you can never, ever use. And
Sometimes you just kind of have to. It just
either kind of have to or just it flows better.
Yeah,
Speakers. The rules we say we shouldn't break, to me, are only true for, not only, but mainly true for the narrative.
hmm
The rules can be broken, especially for speakers. Speakers can say things.
Oh yeah, dialogue. Say anything you want in a dialogue as long as it sounds like it's going to be from that person.
Right. Because when we speak, we often speak in a passive voice.
Yep.
But in the narrative part of the story, we don't want to use a passive voice. If we say he was tired, that's a passive voice.
He was morose.
No, you're still, anytime you use the word was, to be verb, is, was, are, there's a better way to put it without being passive. He collapsed on the bed. Yeah, he's exhausted, right? But it's just, that's the kind of thing that is, you can say, well, that dude was crazy. Well, that's perfectly fine from a speaker. So I'm very much looking forward to reading what you've done. So we need to talk. Speaking of your book, we need to talk about the dangers you're facing from the Fern Creek Mafia.
Yes. So now,
Wait, real quick, we're at 38 minutes. Do you want to talk about that during or after the bourbon break?
yes, let's do that. Let's
Okay, so-
bourbon break.
Bourbon break.
Thank you, sir, for that assist to the captain. I appreciate that.
No problem. Brother Andre held his glass up to me about 10 minutes ago. It's,
I was looking at the clock going, yeah, we're about halfway.
yeah.
You've already hit yours pretty hard there, Robert.
I
So
have.
Let's hear about what we poured you.
So you poured for me after I chose the E.H. Taylor small batch.
Or a frequent companion here on the show.
As
Yes.
it should be.
It is one of those that we get from Buffalo Trace, and it's their allocated bourbon, which you can just go to the distillery and pick up at its best price. So I mean, it's not like you can't find it in the wild, but it's a little harder to find in the wild. But like a lot of Buffalo Trace products, it is very smooth.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, maybe this is the kind of thing that one day we should do a flight of Buffalo Trace. Take the 4 main allocated bourbons.
Well, we need to write down on one of the tours when they talk about the mash bills,
Yes,
because I don't know how similar the mash bills are to all the different products.
right. I don't know. So, like, we know that the Wellers are all going to be wheated bourbons, but I don't know that that's true for Buffalo Trace itself, which is no longer allocated, or
I
E.H.
don't think it
Taylor,
is.
or the Eagle Rare. Um,
But I'm thinking there's some overlap to the mash bills between Blanton's and Taylor and some of the
Yeah.
other ones.
So to me, E.H. Taylor, it's very smooth. It's got a great mouthfeel when you first drink it. There's not a whole lot of burn at all anywhere in it. But it's also not super complex. Now, I probably went through it a little faster than I should have, and I there wasn't a whole lot left over by the time it really bloomed. Which the blooming is where we pick up those secondary notes usually. So I can't really speak to that very well. But I think there's a little hint of citrus in there somewhere.
Yeah, I think we've mentioned that before.
Yeah. Okay. So I wasn't even sure about that,
Yeah.
but I can't really say whether that was like a lemon or grapefruit or a orange or whatever. But it's some kind of citrusy thing. To me, it was in the background, very subtle.
I think we've just often described E.H. Taylor as kind of buttercream and vanilla with a touch of orange peel.
Yeah, yeah, I would say that's a very good way to put it, because that buttercream, vanilla, caramel, vanilla, those are all
Yes,
very
yes.
similar flavorings that you should get out of most bourbons. And it's subtle, but there, and I like that because you don't want to be overpowered by it. It's like Brother Andre loves the smoked maple, which is
That's my breakfast bourbon.
it's the breakfast bourbon of snakes and otters, but that's also very overpowering. The sweetness and
Impossible.
it's very overpowering to me. I mean, I love it. Don't get me wrong, but it's not one I can do a whole lot because it is so overpowering.
So, Brother Andre, we poured you something we have had on the show, but you have not tried yet.
My first tasting of faithfully faithful
Faithfully
crafted. Yeah.
Faithfully crafted, the official bourbon of the Archdiocese. Not. Oh, I'm in big trouble for that
Well, I
one.
mean, it's the coat of arms is on the bottle, so
Well, it's the bourbon that's sure to get you into heaven.
So this is, yeah, famously the collaboration between the Archdiocese of Louisville and Log Still Distillery in New Haven, the Holy Land.
just
And-
behind Cajun's farm.
Yep. And so I really like it. I'm just like, wow, this is good stuff. And
It is.
we've been very positive on the show about it. What are your tasting notes, Brother Andre?
Again, two totally different tasting profiles: pre-bloom and post-bloom.
Yep.
Pre-bloom, I took a sip, blew the ethanol off, took a sip before, just as it hit the glass. Man, it had a big Kentucky kiss to it, and hit me hard in the sinuses. Was a little overpowering, but after it bloomed for just a few minutes, I was getting a very smooth front of the mouth, velvety mouthfeel. Some baking spice notes on the front of the tongue, and some. It's hard to describe, some citrus or something on the back of the tongue. But it was a delayed reaction.
Did we, was that one that maybe with some cherry to it?
Maybe
possibly?
cherry's a good descriptor.
Honestly,
I was thinking I remember those. Yeah, it's like baking spice and then cherry on the back.
I would have to. Maybe I'll do that the second episode
Yeah.
to compare, because honestly, I don't remember if that's. My main memory of it is, it's very complex in a good way and very smooth.
Yeah.
After it blooms, it is very smooth. No, after it's bloomed a little bit, no, just a tiniest bit of Kentucky kiss, no hug in the chest.
E.H. Taylor had very little hug. Actually, I don't think he had a whole lot of kiss either.
But and to go on with what you said, it's kind of a simple flavor. It's not really complex. There's maybe two flavor notes in there.
Hmm.
But I would definitely drink it again, and it's pleasurable.
Very much so. I got a bottle of the 47 recently, but I have not opened it yet.
Yep.
I'm interested to compare the two. That's the log still that they had. Again, it is not because Donald Trump is president. They had planned it before that.
6 years previous, so they had no idea.
Well, I don't know if they planned it as that for when those barrels went in. The
Yeah.
juice went into the barrels. But I know that leading up to the election, no matter who won, they were still going to release this bourbon because it's
And 47 is their distillery number.
yes
In
and that-
Kentucky, every distillery is issued a number,
a DSP
official-
number.
yeah, an official number with the state, and their number is 47. So they named it after that.
Yeah, which perfectly fine. So again, yes, they did it as a very patriotic thing, and maybe I presume the labels still would have been the same no matter who won because all this stuff is planned out way in advance.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, that's one that I'm maybe next time we get together at my place.
Well, Francis has 2 bottles, I think.
Of 47. Oh, because you got them.
I brought him one, and I believe Cajun did as well.
Excellent,
So.
excellent.
We just celebrated Francis's.
Big 6-0.
6-0
I'm trying to think.
So-
It's not a centennial birthday. It's a
sesquicentennial or something.
yeah.
Well, I don't think you can put a centennial in there anywhere. He's not that old, but he is the oldest in Snakes and Otters.
Yes, he's the major domo. So I poured something that I don't recall if I've tried it. I probably did at Cajun's place. It has been on the show, but it's Knob Creek 12-year-old.
I'm
Oh,
pretty
did
sure you
you
tried
break-
it at my place.
Did you break
Oh, yep.
the? you
Although it
broke
might have
the
been a
bottle.
Cajun.
I broke the seal on that one. I've had that one for a while and just have not opened it, and I finally opened it. It's quite good. Tasting, it does not have as much maple syrup taste to me as original Knob Creek, but it's not terribly sweet, so I don't think there's any wheat in there. I think it's a rye style, and just a little pepper to it, maybe,
Mm-hmm.
and perhaps a little of that kind of that baking spice type deal.
But you can tell it's a 12-year bourbon. It aged well.
Yeah, it's nice, very
Yeah,
nice.
It's I mean, I got my bottle at Kroger's. I think for $55.
Yeah, it's
Total.
right in that,
Yeah.
and it's
I mean, $55 for a 12-year bourbon is
Yeah.
pretty good.
yeah, yep. I think at that price point, the number one thing I would reach for is probably Old Forester 1910.
Yes.
If I were determined to spend $55 for a bottle, there are a lot of choices at that price point. A lot, and there are a lot of them are excellent. This is excellent. But I think my first grab would probably be Old Forester 1910.
Yeah, that OF10, that is some really good stuff.
Yeah, at
It
that
really
price
is.
point, it's like, wow, this is because you just get that layering effect, that sort of that layer cake almost of different things that come through, and it's really good.
Well, I like that imagery, layer cake. That's you can.
Well,
tell,
I
you
am
can
a
tell he's
writer.
So, in the 4 episodes from now, the listeners are going to hear me with a lot of different tasting notes because I just enrolled in a bourbon advent calendar where
Oh yes, yes.
you know,
Yeah.
you buy 2 750 milliliter bottles of what you consider good bourbon. We hand them into a central source, and they divide them into 20 milliliter bottles. And so there's like 16 of us that have come together and bought this. And we have a list of all the bourbons that are being supplied, but we get bottles that are just labeled 1, 2, 3, 4. We don't know which bourbon we're tasting.
What's in them? Okay.
And so we taste them in the evening, and you take a guess, and whoever guesses the correct bourbons wins a prize. But
That could be challenging because there's a lot of
So do you know
similar
which
flavor
four you have to
profiles.
choose from, or is it just it could be any bourbon?
it could be any of the you know all the bourbons that have been submitted.
Okay, so you do have a limited number to choose from.
Yeah, and like there's some somebody picked a bacon and pancake bourbon, which I imagine when we come to
Oh, it's
that.
not the smoked maple?
No, it's not. No, because I saw that. I went to buy the smoked maple at Total Wine. They don't have the smoked maple at Total Wine,
Oh,
so I ended up getting the 1910 and then McKenna.
oh, the Henry McKenna.
Henry
yeah.
McKenna 10-year. Those are the
Oh,
two that
that's
I
good stuff.
submitted.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll be submitting a whole bunch of tasting notes.
Pancake and bacon.
Yeah, I'll pull up the list while we're talking and give you.
Ugh. that just, I mean, that's a stomach ache to me.
Well,
I can see that.
And
I mean,
pancake bourbon. I don't know.
the
I mean, okay,
non-treated
maple
smoked
syrup.
maple. It
Yeah.
makes me think of sausage and pancakes as soon
Okay.
as I smell it. So, I get that. I mean,
Yeah.
as much as I love bacon with breakfast, I tend to like sausage better. I mean, I just like bacon, period. But I like sausage because it's meatier. Like to have it, like
Oh yeah.
a breakfast
Yeah.
sandwich, things
Yeah.
like that. But
So, where were we there? What were you going to have me talk about?
the Mafia in Fern Creek.
oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, the Fern Creek Mafia. The
So I showed Mrs. Martin. This is the first she's seen of any of it. Okay. So a couple of you guys have seen one page, and she has seen one chapter. Oh, one scene there. So that's. I mean, other than that, it's all completely still a secret.
right, but she was concerned.
She was concerned. She did not want me to put my actual name on this book.
Were you planning on that anyways, or were you going to?
I was. I originally was going to do pseudonym, and then I kind of like, you know what? What the hell? Let's just be me.
You're almost retired, anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Be proud of your name, Martin Luther.
That's right.
yeah. For somebody who already pretends to be someone else, on the internet.
Yeah. Use your real name, Joe Biden.
Yeah. So there's like, on the internet, no one's really who they are on the internet. So
That's right.
remember, listeners, every 13-year-old girl on the internet is really an FBI agent,
That's right.
and every hitman on Craigslist is really a cop.
Or Chris Hansen. Is that the guy
Yeah,
that did
Chris
Catch a
Hansen,
Predator?
yes. Yep. Yeah, that's the fella. So she was concerned because I described a gun dealer from Eastern Europe who also owned a liquor store in Buchel, and she thought that was like a little too real.
So, which liquor store does she go to that she's also buying her guns from?
Yeah. Well, it's there's that stretch of Bardstown Road there where the cinema used to be. That's now, is it a Sam's or a Costco? I can't remember.
Costco.
Yeah.
Costco, where it is primarily small businesses owned by fairly recent immigrants from different areas.
Right. It is not it is not because of that, but it is not the best stretch of Bardstown Road by far. That's partially because the bigger name brand chain kind of stuff that used to be there, they've all left.
It's all pretty much gone.
And
There, the hotels that were there were kind of bulldozed, and
yeah, what is still there is that CD. What's that CD?
yeah, there's like the Louisville Hotel or something that's there.
It's the
that's
new.
very seedy.
Oh shoot, what was the one from college?
The Dixie
San
Manor.
Antonio Inn.
Right. It's the new San Antonio Inn.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's a no-tell motel kind of place.
Rooms by the minute.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, there's some illicit activity there, and there's some legitimate businesses, but they just
There are,
cater
yeah.
they just cater to a community that is just not a majority community. It's a minority community.
Right. Again, that's not the issue.
That's not.
It's,
Yeah, it's just,
it's the
that's
other
not a
stuff that
thing.
has gone on there.
Yeah.
That is.
So she was, concerned. Don't put your name on this. Don't put your name on this. I was like, well, okay, well, we'll think about it.
Put her name on it.
Oh, that's funny. That's
Yeah.
funny. It just struck all of us as so funny that Mrs. Martin was worried about the potential ramifications. Because the thing I like about what you've talked about with your book is that you are making it rooted in Louisville. What I'm writing is rooted in Louisville.
Yeah.
Because, for one thing, I'm sick of books that only happen on the East and the West Coast or in Chicago.
Yeah.
We want flyover states.
Exactly. And there's a term in a lot of fiction where it's not rural fiction, but it's something similar. My mind is blanking because, again, I can't remember crap.
Yeah.
But a lot of the publishing elite, for lack of a better term, would define that as anything that's not in a big city. So Louisville would probably be, because we're a big city, but we're probably the smallest big city you'll ever find.
Yes.
Yeah.
And certainly anything you get, 5 miles from a downtown of any city is now the rural part of the country.
Yeah.
Basically flyover country. And it's very insulting the way it's defined. So that's one of the reasons why root it in a real place.
Well,
Make
right,
those
right.
places real
Yeah.
for the industry.
And that's not a knock on the famous writers.
No, no, no.
Because, again, Carl Hyacin, somebody that I'm kind of molding some of this on, he was a newspaper reporter in South Florida.
Mm-hmm.
So his stuff is set in South Florida. And again, there's no place more absurd than South Florida.
Hollywood?
No, South, the famous
South Florida is just New Jersey.
I mean,
It
the
doesn't get
famous
snow.
the famous meme of Florida Man.
Oh,
All
oh,
these
yeah.
headlines, Florida Man eats crocodile, raw, or so, these weird headlines that you'll see in the news
Right.
became a meme of Florida Man. And that stuff like really appears in Hyacinth's books, and they're really good. And Michael Connolly was a reporter in Los Angeles, so of course
Right.
he writes about Los Angeles.
Right, which is perfectly fine because as far as setting goes, I think it's good to write what you know.
Yeah.
Because it helps the authenticity of
Yeah.
The local
setting.
flavor.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But as a thing, people don't really know a lot about Louisville. I wouldn't think.
other than we have a horse race here,
Right. I mean, more than a lot of towns have nothing.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, is St. Louis on the TV once a year? Not really. I mean, who knows anything about St. Louis anymore?
They have
Yeah.
a big arch.
Now the sports teams are gone.
Cardinals are still there.
Yeah, other than baseball. But
and the Blues.
oh yes, hockey. There's still
Who
still a good
watches
hockey
hockey?
presence.
Hey,
But the college teams do appear on national TV on a regular basis. That's good. But there is a window into Louisville once a year, guaranteed on national television with the Derby.
and it's a very skewed window.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, it's a positive window.
It is, but
Well,
it's still
it's,
skewed.
It depends.
this-
You show women in antebellum dresses and hats, and men in seersucker suits, smoking cigars and drinking bourbon.
Well, that's
Okay,
it
maybe that
paints
is
the
everyday
pla-
life.
Yeah, it does paint the place as a fun town.
It does. There's
that's
lots
a
of money
good
that,
thing.
that comes into Louisville during the Derby, and that's a great thing.
I mean,
but it's not everyday Louisville.
right. It's not everyday life, but you want your town in national media to be painted as something. You don't want to be painted as a boring place.
Right. Well,
that's the kiss of death. It's like this is a boring town.
well, outside of the Derby, most of the time when places in Kentucky make it on the news, they put some toothless idiot
Hag.
whose trailer was just blown away.
Yeah,
by a
yeah,
tornado,
it's,
and they
yeah.
get well, ma'am, what are you going to do now? Well, I don't know, but we're going to have to pray to the Lord and make sure something good happens. It's like that is not. Yes, those people are there, but it's not.
My Beanie
represented.
Babies were all ruined in the tornado.
Yeah,
that was my savings.
It's like that's the best
What's wrong with that?
representation
Yeah.
that we get sometimes, and
yeah.
it just drives me nuts.
Yeah.
But you can say that for any spot in America.
I
you know.
get that, but I live here, so that's
A
not
hurricane hits
complaining.
Orlando, Florida. They're going to put that same lady on the TV in Orlando.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, having that in a book that maybe will get published and maybe
No, it'll get
Oh,
published.
it'll get published.
have some some penetration in the market, so to speak.
Hmm.
Maybe, hopefully, cross your fingers, and just to have that as Louisville as a genuine place,
Yes.
a real place. Because again, I use the thing we all do. Where'd you go to school? Where'd you go to high school? What did you do? What did you play? Real neighborhoods. Butchertown makes an appearance.
Mm-hmm.
J-Town makes an appearance. Wagner's, a real
Oh, yeah,
place
yeah.
makes an appearance.
Oh man, Wagner's is such good food.
Maybe we need to have breakfast there one morning.
We did that again, but when we were still 3, we did that one
We did
weekend
that
at my
once,
place. We
yeah.
before we discovered Biscuit Belly, which fortunately is not out in my end of town anymore.
Yeah.
I don't care for them.
Again, how did we? You haven't seen Better Off Dead. You don't like Biscuit Belly.
I guess
Would you like more gravy?
Gravy is fine. I just don't like the.
Okay, well, you passed that test.
Okay. You just had the wrong thing at Biscuit Belly.
Maybe so. I've been
Is
there
it-
one time.
That
Well, there you go. What'd
that
you have?
lady walked up to Francis and said, "Would you like more gravy?"
Oh my
It's like
gosh.
the only answer is, of course, yes.
Yeah. The look on Francis's face as he slowly looked up and grinned was just, it was like the heavens had opened
Ah!
and a revelation from God came down and said, yes, you can have more gravy.
Yeah. All right. So you've been inquiring about my literary pursuits. I want to inquire about yours.
Yeah, see, I
Yeah, I
knew this was
know.
going to be the flip side of that. So I have been not exactly in a holding pattern, but so back in July, um, my schedule got turned upside down
Okay.
because, and I think I've mentioned her on the show, but so listeners, the back in late March, my dog died of old age. He was 2 weeks away from his 13th birthday, and he went at home peacefully. It was on the weekend. Kids came over. It was a beautiful thing.
He's now resting at the ranch
And
in
now
New Haven.
he, along with the remains of my two prior dogs, rest at Cajun's Ranch alongside Mrs. Cajun's dog. And he's got a regular pet cemetery going out there.
Another Stephen King reference.
Exactly. So I had not planned on getting a new dog for a while. About a year at least. Because as much as I missed having him around, because it was hard, even Mrs. Robert, because he got on her nerves so bad sometimes. Because I mean, he was a grumpy old man. He really was. And not like mean, but he was old, and so he was like Martin.
He didn't want to do
crotchety.
anything. Yeah.
Exactly. And he was as I said about him when we took him out to be buried, he was a good dog. He was an asshole, but he was a good dog.
Yeah.
Does that bode well for your future? That she doesn't like grumpy old men?
Yeah, it does worry me somewhat. Yeah. Um so anyways, a couple of back in July, my middle child sends me this link to the animal shelter where she got her dog Nemo, and it's this little puggle, which is a beagle pug mix.
Yep.
And it was, they were advertising the dog, saying, hey, she's now available for adoption. She's had a really hard life. She was literally being tased by the owner when animal control went to pick her up, because somebody had called the cops on this family.
As they should.
And they had a bunch of animals there. They were all mistreated, and she got the worst of it because she didn't fight back. So that broke my heart. I was like, okay, we're gonna go see the dog. And I knew when we go to see the dog that, I mean, unless she was vicious, we were probably gonna take her home, which we did. And that was an interesting experience in and of itself. So, but since we got her, it has really messed with when I write. She is a morning dog in many ways, unlike Nemo. So Nemo, my middle child's dog, the grand dog, as she likes to put it, we have sleepovers with Nemo.
You dog sit.
We do. Well, no, we grand dog sit. So she brings Nemo over, and I mean, to him, it's like his second home. Bryn, which is the new dog, was a bit of a shock for him.
Yeah.
But it was also a little karmic payback because she just wants to play.
Yeah.
And, it took her a little bit to really get into that. But, still, when he first met Bosco, when Nemo did, he was exactly the same way with Bosco. But now Nemo, he's hit 4. And 4 is about when they really discover, it's like, hey, this laying around doing nothing
It's pretty freaking awesome.
is pretty freaking awesome. And, Nemo will actually get under the covers at night and sleep at the foot of the bed. I don't know how he breathes. I would feel suffocated. And he will stay there all night, and he will stay in bed until noon if you let him. I've never seen a dog like that. It amazes me. So anyways, she gets up. She's very playful. She's got to be walked because we can't put her out in the yard until we get the fence taken care of and a bunch of other stuff done because I'm worried she'll
Escape.
escape. And she can jump I'm not entirely sure she couldn't jump over the fence.
Oh yeah,
This girl's got some legs.
yeah, athletic. Yeah,
So it's really messed with the amount of time I've been able to put, because I was doing a lot of morning writing and evening writing, and just the taking care of her and dealing with her energetic stuff has really put me off my game. So I'm in the middle of this officially third draft, but I've done so much work on it. It's probably like the 15th draft.
yeah. I mean, basically, I'm considering mine a live evergreen draft.
Yeah, that's a good way to
I
put
mean,
it.
I don't worry about drafting. I'm just worried about I'm just going to keep playing with whatever section I want to play with,
Right.
and it's just evergreen, and
Well,
we'll
and
just
you're
forget about it.
pantsing though, right? I mean,
Yes.
yeah. See, I tend to be plantser, which is plotting pantser. I have a very good idea of where I'm going and what's going to happen, but I don't do like a $30,000 or 30. I would love a $30,000 outline. Be paid that much for just the outline. I don't do like a 30,000 word outline like Francis does.
Yeah.
Educate the ignorant. What does pantsing mean?
You stream of consciousness, but not stream of consciousness in the sense of that's what it looks like on the page, but you write with whatever comes to mind.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
You might have an idea of where you're going.
yeah. I mean, you're just not super reliant on notes and outlines. You're just going, all right, I know these people and I know what I need to have happen. So I'm just making it up as I go.
Okay.
Yeah. Which, I mean, all writing is a
You
form
let the
of
story
both.
tell itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, all writing is really, truly a mix of both, because the very act of making a super detailed plot is pantsing, you know?
Yeah.
Even that is. But on the other hand, when you finishing out, fleshing everything out, having all right, I know that A, B, and C happen in this scene, and I know that PDQ happened in this scene, and X, Y, and Alpha happen over in this scene. So, there's very much a difference between I know
Right.
exactly what's going to happen before I write it versus I'm just going to see what happens. Let the character
Right.
decide.
I know what breadcrumbs I have to leave the reader, but how do I get there? I'm just kind of making up.
Yeah, and for me, a lot of this is where I go back and I layer in a lot of stuff after I've
Yes.
done stuff.
Yeah. I will do a scene and then realize, oh, I need a little bit more color to it. I need a little more exposition, or I need somebody to say a nasty word one more time.
Yeah.
Well, shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
And just go back and do that.
So as far as where I'm at, in the first quarter of the book, because I take a 3-act structure and I break the middle act, which is usually the middle 50%, into 2 parts. Because really, I think the second act really is part 1. There's 2 parts of it. And the way that goes is, first act is all the inciting incident. That's where everything goes to crap for your protagonist, right? Second act, part 1 is, all right, he's trying to figure out how to get out of his problem, but by doing pretty much what he's always done. So it's him struggling to make sense of what's going on, dealing with all the complications that come from the inciting incident. The second half is, okay, what I used to do isn't working. I got to figure out something new.
Yeah.
And that's where, instead of responding, he's reacting. Now he's being proactive. And again, this is all very general. Not every structure is like this. This is how I frame it in my head. And then, of course, the final act is the climax and resolution. And I'm working on refining that first act. And again, the whole thing is written, just first, third draft. So it's not like I'm still working on setting it up. But I've been simplifying it more, trying to focus it more on, all right, what makes this supernatural suspense genre work? Okay. And I've simplified some things. And I'm working on, because I've gone back and forth. I realized in some of the drafts where in the very original draft, my protagonist was way too good. He wasn't perfect, but he had he had all of his poop in a group, and things went to hell, which is, a good starting point. Because, if your life is crap, inciting incident's not going to make much of a dent, unless you die and you got to, come back from that. So had worked on introducing some flaws and things like that. And I'm trying to make the bad guy who's behind everything, um, trying to make him more scary, but in a more menacing, I guess would be a better way to put it,
Yeah.
without revealing too much. So I'm trying to fix some of that stuff, and I've cut out a bunch of stuff that is all right. This does nothing to move the story along.
Yeah.
It's stuff like that.
So
Um,
one thing that I'm concerned about with mine is, and I'm gonna have to think this through a little bit and see if I can have some brainstorms, is my bad guy might be a little too one-dimensional. He's just
oh.
kind of flatly amoral. So I'm trying to give him some personality.
So
Make him lovable.
well,
No, that won't happen.
I don't think that'll happen. But one of the things that if you've not seen the books before, I highly recommend at least looking into them if you don't buy them and read them. There's a book called Save the Cat. All right. And what it is, there one way to make your protagonist likable, especially if he's a jerk, because sometimes protagonists are jerks.
Yeah.
You give him a good trait, like he saves a cat from being run over. I would say save the dog, but whatever. But the corollary to that is save the cat, kick the dog. So where if you want your bad guy to be either to be, for instance, extremely evil, you have him kick a dog, or give him a soft spot for a dog or something like that, so that isolated. Well, yeah, that humanizes him. I mean, he's still a total douchebag, right?
Right.
But or he sends his mom flowers every year on her birthday or something like that. Something that gives him a little bit of depth.
He's attached to his car.
I don't think that counts.
Well,
Well, what if
it's
the
hard to
car
do.
was his father's and
Well, yeah, okay, yes.
It's
it's
hard to do anything else with him because, again, he's a gang member. He's been a gang member since he was a kid.
Right. No, I get that, but I mean,
So he's ambitious.
the car was the last vestige of his father that he never really knew, so he keeps it and preens over it.
more than likely,
I-
probably would have been sold years before.
He likes it because he put money in it.
Well, but and I get that, but I'm just saying
That's
that is
basically-
a
I mean but
that's
that's
a
why
way
I'm
to-
struggling. Yes.
yeah that
Because nothing would make sense. It would be really hard to give this guy a redeeming quality.
well, but that's just it. The redeeming quality isn't something that is necessarily weaved into his entire personality throughout the book. It's something that gives you a little bit of insight into, because not everybody is all bad or all good, right? That, like I said, it can be just a one or two things. Just like I said, if he's sends flowers to his mom, or maybe sends her the good cocaine instead of the crappy stuff. It's just something that shows that
Yeah,
he's got a little bit of depth, and that's because that's all you're looking for. It
Yeah,
doesn't have
I'm
to
just
permeate
super
the
struggling because I mean he's very much I like to sew up all the loose ends.
You can always develop his
So-
character in book 2.
And he may not survive.
Yes, not to give away anything, but yes, he won't be appearing in book 2, because that'll be a.
Have
different
you ever heard of
investigation.
flashbacks?
Yeah, to be a different investigation because being a police thing, they got to
Right.
move on to another case.
Well, I mean, he could go to jail and get out and come back for revenge in book 3. Again, presuming he lives. That's spoilers.
Yeah, I don't want to give that away. So, but yeah, I mean, it's just tough because again, he's an ambitious gang member, so he's working his way, to what they call shot caller. So he's kind of the number
Oh,
2
shot
guy.
caller. Okay,
Yeah, he's sort of the number 2 guy, but he has no respect for the shot caller
Okay.
anymore. Originally he would have, but now he just does not.
I'm sorry, I thought on your enunciation, I thought you were saying shock collar like a dog wears.
yeah.
That's what I thought.
Well, that's
too,
what they call him. In the gangs, you're a shot caller. You're the boss.
Okay.
right.
You know.
So again, it doesn't have to be pets the dog or sends flowers to his mom. Those are just examples, but it's just something because it doesn't have to permeate everything.
Yeah, this is just because he's just not. He's not even monogamous or anything, and so it's really tough.
Well, and yeah,
I'm not even. I can't think of anything. anything that I could give him as a redeeming quality that would make any sense, it wouldn't contradict something that's already happened. So you see my struggle.
Does he love his mama?
It depends.
Nah,
I mean,
probably not.
yeah. I mean, that's kind of hard to say because maybe he's a little too stereotypical on the as far as a
Yeah.
gangbanger goes. Maybe there's again. I don't know how you're expressing all of that. But maybe you pull back in something that makes something good that you can put in there a little more believable. I don't
Yeah.
know. It's hard to say.
I think on part of it too is he's contemptuous of the system because the system was contemptuous of him. So maybe that'll be it. That's kind of the piece that you can identify with him is he was kind of there was a chance to rescue him and no one took it.
What about some kind
So you can kind of feel for him there.
Sure. What about some kind of mentor figure that he had a soft spot for that maybe gets violently murdered that then
that's
that
not
leads
bad. That's not bad. I could work that in.
leads into some act of violence that he perpetrates in the book.
Or he is a mentor to a young man contemplating the gang
He is
style,
doing that, yeah.
and that young man dies. And he is
Oh yeah, maybe he tells the kid he's like you don't want this kind of life, or whatever.
No, because that's inconsistent with his character there. Because to him, this is family.
Well,
The gang becomes
so he brings
family.
a young man in. The young man dies, and he has remorse.
That could work. I maybe could do that because that is happening. That
you have a
is
brother?
No,
Okay.
Does he have
Yeah.
a sister?
none of that. Well, I mean, I could make one up because I haven't mentioned anything like that. But
Because usually the part that
the
makes
cousin that brought him into the gang, I could make that work.
Okay.
Show his human side, because, and in
usually-
some form.
right, and usually show that human side to counterbalance either through some small act of kindness, like saving a dog, or through an attachment to a person that is not part of the everyday life.
Yeah.
Or
if you want an ultimate irony, he gives a ham sandwich to a bum that's on the street, who's actually an undercover detective watching him.
yeah, just for what you said, I can't imagine him giving somebody a ham sandwich.
No, there's too much.
Salami.
They're busy. When they're on the street, they're in the car. They're checking on corners. They're making sure nobody's ripping them off.
Checking on the hookers and blow.
Yeah, I mean, basically, you got to make sure nobody's holding out.
Right, yeah.
So that's what he's doing. He's the shot caller. He's got to make sure everybody's towing the line in the set.
The business is being done.
Yeah, business is business.
Yeah, business. Yeah.
So, but I think I can work with the piece about. Again, there's a bit in his background that's explained a little bit about. When he's first arrested and, just basically treated like a number in the system, and he just decides then that the system's worthless. And so that I think is a humanizing piece
Mm-hmm.
because we can all feel like that. We can all feel like we're at the bottom end of a bureaucracy, the being ignored end of a bureaucracy.
So if he's been put into the system, so to speak, when he's young, there could have been somebody that was trying to buck the system and actually take a personal interest in him as a kid that maybe gets violently murdered, and which sends him on this path. Because something that he can attach a good feeling to, even if it only lasts for 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, basically, he's at a point where there's no future other than in the gang.
Right.
And I'm
His
sure
mentor is killed, and he seeks revenge for his mentor, which leads him down the path.
Well, he wouldn't even need all that because, again, when you think there's no future other than this substitute family, That's where it is, and
Yeah.
you might as well make the most of it, and that's what he does.
Right. Yeah. I mean, a lot of, I mean, I've seen stories, but especially, coming from Michigan and stuff that goes on in Detroit, you know, often you'll talk to these guys. Well, not you, but
Yeah, oh yeah. I mean,
interviews
there's a
where,
ton of research into this
yeah,
stuff.
a lot of these guys don't expect to live past 30
Yeah,
because it's just the life.
yeah,
So they're into it to get as much out of it as they can, to get as much
as fast as they can.
sensual
yeah.
pleasure
I mean, it's
and
respect.
experience.
That's one of the things
Oh,
he's
respect,
after.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
one of the things he's after is respect. But it's again a distorted sense of respect because it's street respect. So
Right. Yeah, it's it totally. That's one of the things that always amazes me about the criminal element in a lot of stories, and this is true real life. And this is just the total douchebags in real life. Respect is always important. If you diss somebody, like you don't even know the guy, and your dissing of him could just be, you crossed in front of him too close.
yeah,
Which is just utterly insane to me.
but
that
that's
concept.
where they are.
But that's where they are.
That's where they are, and that figures into this story again because the one detective says, are they doing it for the money? And the older cop's like, I've seen them shoot each other over nickels and dimes. It's
Right.
not about the money. It's not. It really isn't. We
Right.
think the money fuels.
It makes it possible.
It makes it possible, but it's not really fueling the violence. It fuels some of the criminal activity. Obviously, they sell dope to make money, but the violence is often not fueled in dispute. Sometimes it is. It's disputes over the money, but a lot of times the violence is just fueled over perceived
there's
slights and disrespect, and that
right.
figures into
There's
the story.
strategic violence, which is over territory. and what have you.
Territories, yeah,
But the tactical violence is often the personal.
yeah, and then all of that's in the story. All of that is in there already. So this is all very helpful. I appreciate this let me sounding board this.
No problem.
So I think we're kind of heading towards wrapping this one up.
Yeah, we're at 120.
That's
As
a
a
lot
writing update, I want to also throw in there Mrs. Brother
Yes, I wanted to
Andre.
ask you
Oh,
about
yes,
that.
yes.
She is. I've told her about your forays into the writing episodes, and she's decided that she's going to attend the next writing conference here in Louisville
Awesome.
next
Awesome.
summer because she wants to enter into the romance genre.
Right. And when we were at your place the last time, I'd asked her about it. So apparently she has written. So it's not like she's never written anything. She has. Done
She's a published poet.
Right, but from what she said, I thought she had said that she had actually written something in the genre, not that's been published, but she's been working on.
Oh yeah, she has snippets here and there, but no
Okay.
complete book.
Maybe she just doesn't talk to you about it, but it just sounded like she had more than just snippets. So
And after talking with her, I've often sat in these these recording sessions with you all and said, "These guys are the authors." I'm going to change my viewpoint and say that I too am an author, but I typically write my creations in homilies.
yes.
So I write 7-minute presentations that are 1,200 words.
And we've told you that before, that just because what you write is a homily doesn't make you any less of a writer.
Well, essentially, assemble those homilies into a coherent thing, and now you
you've
have
got
a book.
Yep. There's plenty of books out there that are just published homilies.
Actually, if I go back and look at all of my homilies over the past 13 years, I start to see my own personal theology emerging.
Oh yeah, we often and writers of non-homilies.
So, do we need to start calling you Billy Graham?
Oh,
Please don't.
But we often tend to deal with certain themes a lot, and the themes can change depending on where you are in life. My pastor, for instance, he's got some. Absolutely, I know what his themes are that he will return to often. So yeah, we do develop our own personal theology, and it's not that it's different than the churches. It's personal theology is just your expression of
Yeah. What
Our
part of the faith
understanding.
has touched you the most?
exactly.
So, going back to Mrs. Brother Andre's efforts, so are they really, really dirty?
Well, let's put it this way: she's choosing to. She will choose to publish under nom de plume because she does not want her name associated with it for fear.
With smut.
Yeah, pretty much, yes. But
Well, she's, I mean, I'm feeling like she has a customer.
well, she
Martin is non-discriminatory. He'll read any genre.
If
her
they're really, really hot, I think I'm in.
her personal preference in consuming romance is in Regency England
Oh, okay.
type of
But
thing.
is that the kind that she's actually going to
Oh, yes.
write? Okay, 'cause
So we're talking corsets and bodices and
And
bodice rippers.
dukes and
bodice rippers.
duchesses.
Yeah.
And,
So
yeah.
not bathing suits in the beach.
Oh, no, no, no.
So we're talking 19th century time frame.
Yeah, and I volunteered to help with
People named Heathcliff.
yeah, exactly, Heathcliff, and I volunteered to practice all of the.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you
sex
volunteered to
scenes.
be the cover model.
Oh God, no! I want her to sell
Just
more
to
than a
give her,
book.
real perspective
Yeah.
on what she's doing there. Yeah.
Are these sheet aerobics actually possible?
Well, I don't think that part matters. They just have to sound possible.
Okay.
And they might be possible.
I mean,
just not for
if you're determined enough, almost anything is possible.
That's right. Enough pulleys and levers, you can do anything.
Yeah, I mean,
Hold that thought.
again, you have a source, two sources
That's right.
that she can interview for ideas
Cajun and Imperator will be more than happy to
because they've almost certainly done it.
The farther that I can keep her from those two, the better.
well,
I mean, sometimes you got to go right to the source.
that's right.
So
I do look forward to
good luck to
hearing more
her.
of
Good
Mrs.
luck to her.
Andre's
Yeah, this sounds like
endeavors.
this sounds like a great adventure. So.
I told her I would sit in the lobby and sell her books while she's in the forums.
Well, I tell you what, the first one she goes to, she probably won't have anything published yet because that'll be in this coming July. Although if she self-publishes, she could certainly have stuff done by then, depending on how fast she writes. But
have something ready for the slush pile.
yeah, have something ready for the slush pile. It's definitely worth doing it. You got a lot out of that. And you got a lot of great feedback. It was very affirming. And I'm not big on I'm going to affirm you in your okayness, but you got a lot of affirming advice and comments, Martin.
Well, Tony seemed hooked.
Yes.
Or at least okay.
Interested, yes.
Yeah, I want to see where do you go from here, because with mine again with the first page, it's only setting up the one half of the story.
Right.
Because it does not introduce the detective; it only introduces the gangster.
Sure.
And
Well,
neither one of them are really the people moving the action. There's yet another person involved, and they're both responding and reacting.
Ooh.
Who's the third wheel?
You got to buy the book.
Yeah.
Well,
So let's leave that.
Publish the damn thing, and I will.
Well,
No, I love this. This is the first I've heard of this behind the scenes mover and shaker. I'm liking this.
right, because there's a person who doesn't. Their actions are not on the page.
Who is the Q?
John Delancey.
Yeah,
Star
okay.
Trek. Live long and prosper.
Well, without Francis here, we got to get our Star
Yeah.
Trek references in.
So right, so there is a person moving the action in the shadows.
Awesome. I love that.
So this has some layers to it and some complications.
See, now that's one of the things that I am rethinking on my book. The ultimate bad guy, I think I've introduced him too early, and I need to push his introduction off and have what he's doing be effected through third parties.
Mm-hmm.
Because the more and more I thought about it, it's like, no, this is it's revealing stuff far too soon, making stuff too obvious. So
Yeah. Now I'm only trying to focus on the one, but you have plotted out an entire series.
well, I have ideas for where I want the next 4 or 5 books to go for sure.
Okay.
But they are not fully plotted like a Francis plot again. But I know that the
But
general
you
thrust of
you
things-
know for sure that you've got additional places for things to have happen or people to be introduced down the road.
Yes. And that's one of the things I have struggled with in rewriting, because originally the first draft of this was a standalone, and because I was going to move on to something else in a similar theme, similar version of the character of the bad guy, but I've decided that I want to make this just like a 5 or 6 series book.
Yeah.
or book series rather, and I have some general ideas. But after I'm finally done with this, I'm gonna spend a lot of time and really map those next books out because it has to be very particular and very structured.
Right, right. So
To get
to
where I'm
carry
going.
through, yeah, you're gonna have to structure it to carry it through. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah. Where again with this, I mean, I just don't think that's something you really do a lot with police books.
right.
You can have some elements of that, but generally you wrap up the
Right.
case.
Just like
The
Bosch
case
is
has to have an end, and then you do another
right.
case.
Something like Bosch or the Charlie Parker books. Two authors named Connolly, but different
Yeah.
first names. They are. There might be well the or the John Connolly books, the Charlie Parker. There might be an overarching theme or general direction, but still the books are fairly standalone. I mean, they reference things that happened in the past,
Yeah.
but when he's an ex-police officer, so there's a little bit of that. But in a truly active police officer, it's got to be episodic,
Yeah.
and unless you've got some big behind-the-scenes villain that eventually you lead to and you track down and you end the series.
Yeah.
Well, episodic gives
And they
you a
do
beginning,
that.
a middle, and an end,
Yeah.
which makes for
Well, I
a
mean,
good story.
to, for to, when I say episodic, I mean something like the original series Star Trek or the Next Generation, or the current Strange New World Star Trek, where each episode is a standalone.
Is that worth watching?
Oh yes, yes, absolutely. There's a few that are but mostly excellent. Anson Mount is one of the best captains, period, as Captain Pike. Fantastic.
Okay. Cool.
But anyways, they may reference things that have happened in the past, and they should at least. It shouldn't be a total 100% reset like it often is in television, or it used to be. Probably.
I mean, most television police things now will try to have that season-long villain.
Yes.
The investigation that's taking forever, while at the same time they're wrapping up smaller ones
Yes.
as they
That
go in the
eventually-
episodes.
Mostly, not always, but will be related to the larger thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the minions of the bad
Yes.
guy get.
Yeah,
I
I mean, this
suppose.
is one of these things where I wasn't really counting on this, overarching gigantic arc. So it's all going to get basically wrapped up at the end.
Well, does it-
Everything gets
yeah, but it doesn't mean that something couldn't come out of it that he's like you can back your way into. It's like, oh, this that was happening
Oh, yeah, yeah.
was really you find out in book 3 somebody else doing something, and I mean
Well,
just all
you
kinds
know,
of potentials for that.
the gang doesn't go away. So no
Right.
matter what happens, there'll still be a shot caller who, is going to keep peddling dope
Right.
and shooting other people.
And usually the shot caller has a boss who evidently is your mystery man.
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily. I mean, the shot caller is a shot caller.
Well, but I think what he's saying though is, I think you're thinking mafia for sure, but local gangs are still often expressions of larger organizations.
Right. I mean, that's why they call them a set. You
Yeah.
you have allegiance to the large nationwide gangs.
But they don't interfere in the
They
local,
right. I mean,
whereas the mafia will.
well,
Yeah.
you would have the commission essentially would try to steer those families outside of the commission. So that's all well documented. But with a street gang, the guy that runs the set here has some allegiance to a set in L.A. or Memphis or Houston or whatever, but he's not necessarily going to give a shit about them. So
Well-
they wouldn't be considered a boss. Like the guy in L.A. would be considered, the most successful boss, probably the most successful shot caller, because he's going to have the biggest set and probably the most rackets going on, the most money coming in. But they don't necessarily have to do anything he says, but they'll have some respect for him just for being the most successful.
Right.
So, motorcycle gangs make an appearance too, and I think they're more
Oh, nice.
like a cooperative though. A chapter here and a chapter in another town, they're going to cooperate more probably
Yeah, well, that's the beauty of being
rather than
motorcycle
being
gangs.
more competitive like the street
Yeah.
gangs.
Well, and they're also on the move, so they can, they might be, based in a city,
Yeah.
but they're going to be traveling around.
Right.
town.
You know, yeah. Is there some competition? Probably. But if they can make a buck working together, then that's what they're going to do.
Right. Yeah, because the true motorcycle gangs, they still got their territory.
Yeah. I mean, that's that Sons of Anarchy style show. I mean, that's very real. Is you know the chapter, the chapters are a thing unto themselves, but you know they'll work together. Um, you know, especially against common enemies, the other motorcycle clubs. So. But yeah, there's a little bit of everything in this. So I appreciate you all being my sounding board with this.
Oh, my pleasure.
I'll have to
I love
see
talking
if
about this.
see if I can work something in to make the one character a little more human. But I like the idea of I can expand the mentor piece that he had. That really could work. So. All right. Well, I think that we'll have to wrap up this episode.
Yes, we're at
there.
135. That was a
Oh,
very long Hoopajoob.
That was way more than I thought we could do. So,
Martin, what's next?
next time will be, of course, Code of Honor. We're excited to Code of Honor for November 2025.
That's right. And we did old school last time, but we're not doing old school this time.
Right. I've just got one quote. We're going to kick it around and we're going to go from there. And then, like I said, hopefully we'll be able to put together this thing with Mick the writer from Stoke-on-Trent for the December episode.
Looking forward to it. We hope you enjoyed another pointless discussion of eternal questions. Remember, new episodes drop every second and fourth Friday at 6 a.m. Eastern, just in time for your morning commute. And every fifth Friday, we drop a special Hoopajoob episode. Spread the word we are on all the major platforms, and leave us a review. That helps others find us. We're also on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube, as well as our website, snakesandotters.com. Join us next time, same snake time, same otter channel.